So, what if everything was true? What would that look like? Okay, stay with me for a little while here. Stay with me. In the world of improv, and I learned this from my daughter actually, in the world of improv, they have this kind of phrase that they use, and it's yes and. Okay? Yes and. And so when you look at a great improv set, and had this great experience in improv, know that the actors and the actresses on stage are doing yes and. So if one person does something, then that's true. No matter how outlandish what they do or what they say, what if that is true? And if that is true, can we say yes? And then what else can be true? And that's how we get some of these wild and wonderful skits that we get from improv. Now, you and I can sit in the audience and you and I can have a great time at the imagination and the wonder of that. But let me ask you a question. What if we applied yes and to our lives? What if we said, well, if this is true, what else can be true? Now, what I'm talking about here very succinctly and pointedly is the concept of thinking outside of the box. Now, we all hear that, oh, you gotta think outside of the box. It's really, really cliche. But what the hell does it actually mean? And how do you do it? It's a yes and. It's a yes and. It's a, well, it would be great if this were true, something that isn't true right now. And if this were true, then this other thing can also be true. Well, if that other thing can also be true, then how can we actually make those things true? You see, in that moment of time of imagination and spark, it's suspending that which the world says has to be. The world puts everything into confines and says, this is the order it has to be. But in order to think outside of the box, in order to truly create, in order to truly be an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to say yes. And now you've already done this in your life. That's how you got to where you are right now. But right now, you're also feeling kind of stuck and kind of here because you stopped yes anding. And so I'm here to implore you to yes and again. I'm here to implore you to say, hey, it's time to dream again. It's time to think outside of the box again. It's time to flat out knock down the walls of the box. Now, what am I not talking about? I'm not talking about being immoral, and I'm not talking about being illegal. Okay, so if, and this was a real example that I gave to my sister actually. If you wanted to be a lawyer, right, and she is a lawyer, she's a very good lawyer, and she said, when I told you I was going to law school, Atiba, you said, why? I can just print you up a diploma that says you're a lawyer. I did say that. Okay. And that was a yes and moment. And it was a yes and moment because it was like, why do you want to be a lawyer? What is the outcome that you want? And do you actually need a law degree to get there? Well, she did, legally. She would have been breaking the law if she wanted to do some of the things that she wants to do without that actual law degree and having that. So I'm not talking about being immoral, and I'm not talking about being illegal. But I am asking, is there a way to accomplish your goal that you have not thought of yet? Because you haven't taken the time to yes and it. Because you haven't taken the time to go through and say, if this is true, what else could be true? And dream a little bit. At our agency, we have this process, we call it Build Your Authority, where we help you create video that builds your authority, right, with your ideal customer. And when we launched that service, it was in the middle of the pandemic and we couldn't travel. And we were launching a video service, a video production service in the middle of the pandemic at a time where everyone said, oh my gosh, you've got to travel. If you're going to do video, you got to do it on site. Heck, people still say that to me today. You got to be on, so you got to travel all over the country and shoot film people everywhere. And we said, well, what if we can do this, but we didn't have to be in person? What else could be true? And through that, we learn how to help people build studios for under $500. We learn how to virtually direct people so that we don't even have to be there with them and get great content. It's a yes and moment. What else could be true? So I'm going to ask you this. What are you struggling with right now? Where are there blocks in your life, in your business right now? I want you to hit reply and tell me how you're going to yes and or if you don't know how to yes and, tell me that too. If you're flat out stuck and like, I don't know which way to go with this and how to yes and this, tell me that too. Let's talk about it because it's time to get you unstuck. It's time for you to move. It's time for you to go. It's time to break down the walls of the box that you're in and become the superhero for your ideal audience that you're supposed to be. So hit reply. Let me know. Want to hear from you. Thanks.